Hey guys, Zero here, welcome back to Let's Play RuneScape. I'm down in the desert training divination. It's been going pretty well, but I've been thinking a lot about bonds. Yesterday, Mark Gerhardt announced that Jagex will now sell bonds at a price of $5 each. These bonds represent a promise on behalf of Jagex to provide services to the bearer in the future. So whoever holds that bond is being given a promise by Jagex to provide them with services. Right now those include membership, rune coins, spins, and RuneFest. And basically, as Jagex continues to provide a better service, those bonds become more valuable to the people who play RuneScape, to the people who love this game. And because those bonds can be traded in-game, what that means is that people who buy bonds for $5 can increasingly trade them for value in the game. Those bonds become more valuable to people who play. Now that won't necessarily mean that you'll get more gold for your bond, but you will get more value, and that's very important. And I want to explain a little more about that too. So over the past decade, we have experienced runaway inflation due to gold farming. And basically, these gold farmers, they didn't really farm gold as much as they farmed items, and they would do so using bots that were so efficient that those items would be just very cheap to us, right? In fact, they were so cheap that we were willing to waste gold in order to buy them. We would waste gold and just train up our skills, sit around the Grand Exchange and fletch all day until we got to 99. The items were so cheap that they were worth more to us than the gold that we spent on them. Now that gold was useful to gold farmers because they could sell it on to their customers for the thing they really wanted, which was real world money. But the problem is that the money that people were spending on RuneScape never made it to the content developers. It never made it into the hands of the people that were promising to make a good game for us. So this bond flips that whole process on its head. Now, when people invest money in bonds, it enables Jagex to make this game even better. It helps them to fulfill that promise, to provide those services in the future. So those bonds are becoming more valuable. It's a very eloquent way of solving this problem. Now, for the gold farmers, they're going to be under increased pressure because the items that they've always been providing to get the gold that they wanted are not going to be worth it anymore, right? Basically, our gold is too valuable. And in fact, everything in your player account is now more valuable than it used to be. And in the case of items, that is still true even as those items become less expensive. And there's a number of predictions that we can make about what will happen in the game because of this. But for gold farmers, they're no longer going to have access to cheap money because people don't want their items anymore. Not nearly as much as they used to. So what's probably going to happen is that gold farmers will look for other ways to find cheap money, but those profit sources will very rapidly dry up. Stuff like high-level alchemy. Right now, people will high-level alchemy at very small profits because they prefer to have the experience, right? Traditionally, there are three things in game that have value. You have gold, which you can use to spend on other things. You have items that you can use to do other things in the game. And then you have experience, which also helps you do other stuff. And in the end, it's all really about the experience of playing the game, right? So people were willing to waste money because it was so cheap in order to get the other two. They were willing to waste money to gain experience or get items. But that's no longer the case now because our gold is more valuable to us. Now our gold helps us get something else. It helps us play the game. It helps us get experience in terms of the subscription or experience in terms of going to RuneFest. I mean, do you really want to sit around the Grand Exchange and fletch all day? Or would you rather go to a party with a bunch of people that really like RuneScape? I gotta say there's no competition. And so what's going to happen is that as long as Jagex fulfills that promise and provides a better service, the players in-game are going to work harder and provide more value to the people who spend money on bonds. We want to provide that value because we get value from Jagex. It's really that simple. Now, a lot of people have had this thing in the back of their mind that, hey, you know, maybe this is just a cash grab by Jagex. But it's really not, because Jagex has to work harder. The only way they can get rid of gold farmers and actually make more money by this process is by providing a better service to the people who love this game, to the people who actually farm the gold, the real players. So when they do that, the bondholder, the person who buys the bond in the first place, can exchange it for more value in game. Now, there's a number of things that we should probably be doing as players right now, because a lot of things are going to happen. Our gold is more valuable than it ever has been before, but certain items are going to become less desirable. Certain items are going to drop in price, even though they're still very valuable. That's important to mention. And I want to spend a little bit of time chatting about that. The first one is that consumption goods are going to be traded less frequently on the Grand Exchange. In fact, if you watch the highest volume traded items over the next few weeks, over the next few months, you will see the volume of items traded decrease over time. And that's going to be very interesting. Also, there's going to be some big swings in the price of high value items. Stuff like Santa hats, fish masks, which are, you know, on the lesser end, but also stuff like, you know, Tetsu armor or Virtus armor or party hats. These items are going to fall maybe very rapidly in price, but their real value is actually still going up. So don't be too concerned, right? But what you probably want to do is get away from consumption goods. Get rid of your dragon bones. Get rid of your dragon leather. Get rid of all of those items, because people are no longer going to be interested in getting easy experience as much, because the gold that they spend to get that experience is too valuable for other things. It's too valuable. We're going to see a lot more people going out and getting things that they can sell for gold. You know, going out and mining gold ore, going out and mining coal, going out and providing services to other players in game in exchange for gold, because they want to get that service, right? They want to get that valuable service from Jagex. So if I were you guys, if you're interested in preserving or even increasing the value of items and the things that you have in your account, focus on buying items that can be converted into gold for profit. Anything that can be high-level alchemied right now for a profit will very quickly increase in value. That profit margin will evaporate, and you'll be able to sell those items back in the future, or even alch them yourself if you want the experience. Also, people will go back to working for resources on their own, because they won't want to spend their money on those resources. So, for instance, we're probably, let's say I wanted to train smithing. Well, now I'm much more likely to go out and mine the ore and turn it into bars and then smith those items, because the gold is too valuable. It's far too valuable to me, as long as Jagex provides a better service, right? So they've got their work cut out for them, because the only way this is good for Jagex is if they fulfill that promise to the players. I mean, it's exceptionally good for the game. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. It's a wonderful solution. I'm very impressed. And however it is that they came up with this idea, I think they should continue focusing on that type of effort. Whatever process they used to make this idea is very important to them. So that's all I've got for today. Thanks very much for watching. I'm sure there's a few things I forgot about bonds that are interesting, but I think I've hit the key points, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. So take care, guys. See you later.